What's going on, guys, and welcome back to DriveHub. And in today's video, we're installing these Boslla 4-color LED headlights into the Corvette. These things do some really cool stuff, and you're not going to want to miss it. Okay, so straight away looking at these things, you can tell they're not just a regular LED headlight. When I installed Boslla LED high beams, they also came in a beautiful, beautiful box, just like these do. And on the edge of the box here, you can see a little bit of a hint as to what makes these LED bulbs so cool and so different. Go ahead and open them up. Product manual and instructions, not gonna need that because I, of course, am a trained idiot. I mean professional. Thought they must have forgot one. Just kidding. I already have one in the car. Relax, everybody. So on one side of the headlight, it's this silverish gray color. And on the other, it's gold. We'll find out why that is a little later on in the video. They have this nice glass protective case. Now you also have this harness here. This end right here plugs into the factory Corvette light harness. This end right here has 4 little prongs on it. And I'm not sure if you can see it. On one of these edges, it has a 5th little tiny port that plugs in right there. I'm not sure if you can see it. There's a 5th little hole on there. So while we're here, we might as well line these up, plug it in. One less step to do later. Just find that 5th little black prong, line it up with the 5th hole on this. Plug it in like so. Then take the little collar that has threads on it that's hanging down there. And you got to use a little bit of force to get it started, but just thread it over the other end so you have a nice fit and finish like that. And in the same fashion that we've done when we installed the HIDs and the LED high beams, go ahead in the interior, turn the headlights on, they'll flip up, and then turn it back one click. The headlights will turn off, but the buckets will stay up. Okay, so now we're going to remove the 3 screws that are holding on the black headlight trim housing. You have one Phillips head there, one Phillips head there. Around the other side, one more right there. Now don't be a dumbass like me. Put these little tiny screws somewhere where you're not going to lose them. Now we're going to jump back inside the car. Pop the hood. Now we're gonna go ahead and take the headlight housing. There's a little clip up here. So you just kind of pull that forward and out first. Just angle it forward, sort of roll it out, it comes out. All right, guys, so on the C5 Corvette, you have 2 different sets of bulbs. The high beam bulb is this one right here on the inside, closest to the motor. The low beam is on the outside. Remember, high beam, low beam, high beam. So all we're gonna do now is reach in, not this first bulb you feel, burn on the outside, right here, over here, right here, and if my hand's in the way, you can see that's the low beam bulb. Just gonna spin it and pull it out. Obviously, this isn't the factory bulb. This is the set of HIDs from Corvette mods that I installed a little while back. Grab the resistor that's in there too. You're just going to unplug it from the factory harness. Little clips. You might need a flathead screwdriver unless you have superpowers like me. So right there's the factory harness. That's where we're going to be plugging the new bulbs into. And here's the old HIDs. So now we're going to take the Boslla bulb. As I showed you beforehand, you have to put in this connector, thread on this locking piece. And again, I'll include a link to these down in the description below, so be sure to go check them out. But now we're just going to take the factory harness that's just hanging around in there, plug it in to the Boslla harness. Make sure it clicks in. I'm just going to let this hang for a second, and I'm going to go turn on the headlights and make sure that it works before I actually go through the hassle of threading it in. First try. Awesome. Okay, so now is when we can go ahead and remove the glass cover on the bulb. That is very nice. I like that they do that. That's quality. It feels like a quality solid bulb. So go ahead and thread it in there, make sure it's locked in. We'll turn it on one more time to make sure. Good stuff. So now we're gonna button this back up, put back on the headlight shroud type thing. Just gonna roll it in, bottom first, line up this little mounting point up here. Slides in like that. Grab the screws that you remember where you put them, because I told you to. Good job, everybody. I suppose we should have shut the hood first. We'll do that now. Finish putting in these screws. 2 on the inside, 1 on the outside. All right, so it is daylight, but I'm gonna go ahead and shut off some of the garage lights so that I can show you guys the very, very cool feature that really sets these bulbs apart from other LED lights. Oh, and before I show you guys what these LED bulbs can do, it's the same exact process for the other side. You're gonna remove this headlight bucket, pop the hood, pull the headlight bucket out, reach into your furthest bulb, untwist it, unplug it from the factory harness, plug the Boslla LED bulb in, test it, make sure it works, thread it into the socket, put back on your headlight bucket, screw it in, and you're good to go. All right, so now I'm gonna show you the feature that makes these bulbs really, really awesome. So we're gonna go ahead and get in the car. Fire it up. So when you first turn the headlights on, you get bright white lights. This is a 6,500 bright white light. It's the perfect brightness for driving at night. Now if you turn the headlights off and back on, the light color changes. It's now a 4,300K, which is actually like a whitish yellow, as you'll be able to see. Not sure if the camera's picking it up. It's not such a cold white, it's more of a warmer white. I sound like an interior designer. So with this 4,300K warmish light, this is better for like snowy weather, because if you have a bright white light and you're driving through the snow, and I know this firsthand, sometimes it can be a little bit difficult to see, even though the lights are very powerful and they're very bright. It's not what you really need in snowy weather. The bright white sort of reflects off the snow, and it can be very, very difficult to see sometimes if it's really, really snowing. I know this firsthand because I live in New Hampshire. Now once again, if you turn the headlights off and turn it back on quickly, now it's yellow. It's a completely yellow light, and it's very, very cool looking. This is a 3000K yellow light. This type of light is best for driving in foggy weather or rainy or smoggy weather. We have one more setting. Turn the lights off and back on again. And now you get this emergency flashing yellow. Now as you can see in the rearview mirror, the taillights aren't flashing, but the lights in the front, your headlights, they are flashing. Boslla says this is for emergency situations, but I don't know, if you're driving in, if you're pulling into a show or something at night, having these on I think would look really, really sick. Now you do have to turn the lights off and back on again within 5 seconds for it to switch to the next color in the sequence. The light's been off for more than 5 seconds, then it will reset to bright white. So now we're gonna wait a little bit. We're gonna wait till it gets dark out. Obviously it's the middle of the day, but we're gonna get these out on the road at night and see how they look.
2 hours later.
All right, guys, so from those night shots, you can see just how bright and just how dynamic of a headlight these Boslla LED bulbs are. These are the world's first 4-color LED bulb, and I don't get how more manufacturers haven't come out with something like this yet, because it makes complete sense if you're driving a vehicle all year long and you have conditions where it's snowing and you don't need such a bright white light. It's genius to be able to switch it to a different color on the go. And frankly, it's safer. So again, I'll include a link for these down in the description below so you can check them out. The bulb required for my C5 Corvette was an HB4 for the low beams. But again, thank you all so much for watching. Stay tuned for more upgrades and mods to the C5 Corvette. But I'll see you guys in the next video. Happy motoring.